Greetings and welcome to Stunthanger Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthanger Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthanger Forum member to find the link to be a part of the live stream and to attend the after party. Here at Stunthanger Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthanger Forum, you can find a link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthanger.com/SMF. That's stunthanger.com/S as in smart, men, flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthanger, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get running myself, so please be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. Now, if you find Stunthanger Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the videos. And comments also are helpful. So I'm not on Sparky's channel except for Monday and Friday nights. So you can go to my channel, my YouTube channel, which is Flying Control Line Stunt. And I have a video of me flying at the national championships. So just use that video. Put a comment, and now we'll get an alert. I'll be notified that there's a comment, and I will get to you much quicker that way. So please consider doing that. We also offer a YouTube membership starting at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. I'm talking about the Stunthanger Video YouTube memberships. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthanger. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges I can see in the YouTube chat and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, you can also use the super chat, which is like a big $sign located at the bottom of the chat box, to make donations. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. And please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to post a link at stunthanger.com and set up YouTube. So let me go to the, I got to do this here live. So pardon me just a second. Let's see, where did that thing go here? That's that. There it is. The other system I used to use, I didn't have to do all this during the live. I could set up in advance. So this is a little bit of an inconvenience, but we'll make do. So now I'm going to YouTube. The link's posted, by the way. So those of you who want to come in, you can go to the stunthanger.com forum and then go to At the Bench, and you'll see the link with today's date. And let me go to the our control panel inside Stunthanger, the YouTube channel. Do this. This is the only drawback, and I haven't gotten around to edit this part out of the shows. So if you're watching this as a replay, wondering what's going on, well, this is until I figure out a better way of setting up the show. This is what I have to do. So I see the show there. It's not for kids. Alrighty. And let me edit this some more. But I see some people there already. I'll be there with you momentarily. I just change some of these options. Done. Okay, and saved. Fantastic. Well, I see Dan Winship. He says, "Good evening, Charles." Hey, Dan. Good evening to you. I saw your trailer at the Dayton contest. Saw your flight. Pretty good for a guy he's been out of the game for a while and only has about 6 engine runs on that engine. Not bad. Tom Rammel, he did like. Thank you. I appreciate that, Tom. And Todd Stimson, thank you. Good evening, everyone, he says. And then Jack Snavely, hey, it's all here in Kansas. Too hot to play outside for me. Yeah, I understand when it's too hot. Yes. So let me see what's going on the, I'm all caught up. Oh, matter of fact, we have 13 viewers right now, 18 playbacks, 0 new memberships, 0 chat revenue, 10 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That helps the channel analytics. And it's important to us to help us grow the channel. And let me get back to the YouTube side here. I'm not YouTube, but the Zoom. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Let's see here. Well, let me see here. Well, I don't see anybody in here with me. Oh, here we go. As soon as I speak, someone starts coming in. Hey, Gary, I see your name. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Hey, Gary. Well, Miles, Gary, you in there? Do you see me? Do you hear me, Gary?
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
All right.
I was waiting on my machine.
No problem. How's my audio? Does that sound
Good.
all right?
Yeah.
All right, good. Fantastic. So another Monday night, and have you done anything regarding model airplanes or anything?
Just working on stuff,
I know. Appreciate that. But you never know. You might surprise me one day. That's why I ask you.
Oh, yeah, might.
Everybody, because I know you love model aviation. And you love full-scale aviation as well. So I'm always thinking it's a possibility. But I actually did go out today. Fortunately for me, I have a friend in Joe Mata. He met me today, and it was just frustrating. Boy, I could not. I know I'm giving some fodder to the electric guys, but I had a hard time getting my motor started today. And I know. If I had electric, it wouldn't have happened like that. But that's what happened. Normally, I don't have any problems. I haven't flown in. I really haven't flown the Strega in probably 3 weeks. I've been doing so much work on that plane. As a matter of fact, I was up till 4 this morning working on it. I mean, all day and up until 4 this morning. Took a cool 2-hour nap basically and got up and called Joe or text Joe and asked him, was he going to meet me out there? And he gave me the thumbs up. So we met. I did get the motor running, and might end up having to repeat all this, but with me moving the motor back about 5/8 of an inch and all the work I've done, I actually have offset the landing gear. This was it caught me out of, it just caught me asleep. I set the plane down. Joe is holding the plane and waiting for me to get to the handle. And then when I give him the signal to release the plane just noses over. And fortunately, it didn't break the prop and didn't have a, what do you call it? When the motor runs and the prop is broken and tears the plane up. So fortunately, none of that happened. But it was like, and then when he showed me what was happening, I was like, oh, and I knew I couldn't fix it at the field. So just kind of disappointing. It's something that's in stunt, when you do something, you're borrowing from Paul and you have to pay Peter. And in this instance, I needed to move the landing gear, not move it, but bend it, I should say, bend it more forward so that the plane can't nose over. Right now, if I sit the plane on this nose, it'll just stay there. And it didn't do this before when the engine was further forward. And so by doing that, it just caused that, which is, I don't do this every day, move an engine that's significantly far back. as I did, and that's one thing I did. I did thanks to Al Ferrero. He told me if you move the engine back, Charles, you need to readjust the lead outs, and I did do that. And actually, Al Ferrero might have saved my bacon by doing that, but I did not think about the landing gear being off, and one of those things, frustrating. You just don't know how much in anticipation I was of going out flying today and having a more aerobatic performing airplane, and nothing happened today like that. So frustrating, but that's what makes the good days so fun and wonderful, is when you've had those experiences of a bad day. But I guess it's not a bad day because the plane is still in one piece. So
Yeah, you'd think moving it back, your engine back there, wouldn't make it nose over. Going forward, you can see that there could be more up front there.
it totally surprised me. I wasn't expecting that either. I don't know, but that's what happened. Live and learn.
Did you have your elevator down maybe when you took off a little
No,
bit rather than,
No, I probably had it neutral.
you know?
I was checking it because I pretty much always verify where the elevator is at before I give the person my command to let go of the plane. And that plane doesn't really jump into the air, so I don't really have to really be really concerned about the rollout. Yeah, it was just one of those things. Oh, let me bring up the pardon me, Gary. I gotta rearrange my screen. All I got is us, and there's a conversation going on YouTube. Let me bring that screen in. 1 second. Let's see here. How do I do this? Okay, move this over here. All right, great. All right, so Dennis Adamison says, "Hi, Charles. Like delivered. Be on in a bit. Thank you very much." Hey, Dan, I would love for you to come in. I'd love to talk about some things I observed. It just looked like watching your flight, your plane turns better on the outsides than it does on the insides. And I'm wondering if you was fighting that, or you noticed that. It was something I noticed. So I'm curious. And Michael Smith, he says, "What kind of plane?" It's a Strega. It's a Strega. It's a Brodak product. It's an ARF, but I've modified it quite a bit over the years. I've campaigned it for the same plane for a while, and now I'm actually doing even more modifications to it, and I actually started to consider putting a new finish on the plane. It really is my best flying plane until I build a new one, and it's been difficult to get that new one done. I have a new Strega, which is even more modified, which I'm calling Precious Balsa, and hopefully I'll be campaigning that. But I'm working on this plane and putting a lot of effort in getting that in its best possible position, and just in case I don't finish Precious Balsa. Plus, Precious Balsa is going to require a lot of trimming and all kind of things, because it's going to be a totally different pipes. It's going to be a tuned pipe, and the Strega runs on a rear exhaust muffled motor. So anyway, I've been working a lot on the Strega, what I refer to as the red Strega. I have two Stregas. I have a white Strega, which was built by Reuben McBride, and then the red Strega is an ARF, but the white Strega was actually a kit that Reuben McBride built. So that's the question there. That's the answer, Mike. Michael, thanks for coming in. I don't know if I've seen you before. Maybe I have, but maybe haven't been in quite as frequent as others. So thank you for coming in.
I still can't see bringing your engine back and nose back because it's in. Because that puts a lot of weight in the back when you're moving it back like that, I would think.
I totally agree.
Hmm.
I don't know if I have.
I'll see if you went forward. I can see that. I mean, it'd want to, but
Yeah, yeah. It's bizarre. Even though when I verified the CG early this morning, um, the CG had moved from not from leading edge back. Last time I measured it, it was. Let me wait for John to come in. Hey, Brendan, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been pretty busy.
I understand that. And then Mike, thanks for coming in, Mike. And then I see John Miller is going to be coming in shortly.
Pardon the bare belly.
So is it hot there where you're at, Mike?
Yeah, I've had a wild couple, 3 weeks. I don't know if people saw my comments with Sparky. I wound up getting diagnosed with the Wu flu last 2 weeks ago, Tuesday,
Oh,
and
I'm sorry
wound
to
up
hear that.
spending 5 days in the hospital in Colorado Springs.
I'm so
Everything
sorry,
else.
Mike. So sorry to hear that.
Now I'm having to be on oxygen at night. Hopefully that'll get cleared up and I don't have to worry about it. But not doing much building or anything right now. Just
Oh,
trying
I
to get my
bet. Well,
strength back.
I'm glad you're still amongst the living. So
I am too. It was a little
important
touch
thing.
and go for a while.
Hey, John, how's it going, man?
Not bad. How about you?
Pretty good. I was just talking about my experience today, and I imagine we all have experienced this, where you just are in such anticipation of flying your plane because of you can fill in the blank. Well, in my case, because of me moving the engine back and 5/8 of an inch, and I was expecting it to be much more aerobatic in nature. And hang on, so it's like Carl's trying to come in. Hey, Carl.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, Carl. Doing well.
wow.
Hey, am I coming in better than coming in better than I was the other night?
Yeah, as far as the your internet connection, but your mic is really loud. Your audio is really loud.
God, it's getting awful high on the audio.
Yeah.
No, let me see if I can. I don't know if I have any.
Okay.
If I can lower your audio. See that one of my features. So if you can just speak softer. Remember we had the same issue a while back?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Is that better?
A little bit. A little bit.
I could hear you breathing. You got your mic down in front
Is
of
it
you?
still too? Well, it's built into the laptop.
Well, you can speak softly. We hear you very well.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if I'm coming through better than I was on Monday.
A little bit. It seems like your internet connection's a little bit better. But
Okay.
it's
All right.
but your volume is a problem.
All right. All right. Let me try something here.
All right, and you can probably just step back a little bit away from your laptop. That might even help too. Just don't be on top of it.
Yeah, I could hear him breathing into his mic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just barely breathing. You sure it's me?
Well, let's see. No, I'm not. Given the normal age of the group of people we have here.
Okay. How's that?
You getting better?
Yeah, sounds good.
Better. All right, let me catch up. Dan Winship says, you're right on the plane turning tighter outside than inside. I plan on trying to correct it at the handle if possible. I would get on Zoom, but I was having trouble logging. Last time I set up, because Carl was having problems getting in too. So I made it so that you don't have to use the Zoom client. You can use your browser. Maybe try it again, Dan.
That's better.
I'll try it again tonight. See if you can get in. You don't have to download that client, the Zoom client. You can use the browser.
Hey, Charles, how's this?
That's
Yeah, when you're
great.
sitting back,
Really
that's a little
good.
better.
Okay.
Yeah, just be laid back. Kicking it.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl. And Eddie's coming in. And hey, Lynn, thanks for
There's
coming.
a famous Lynn Burrell.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going well.
All
Looks
right.
like we
Good
want to
stuff.
come see you today. Today is the official date where we can go to Canada. But,
Yes.
but you guys can't come here. That doesn't seem fair.
Big surprise.
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. It's like you can fly into the United States. And
Yeah,
then,
I can fly in.
Right, and you're gonna be in touch with people who you don't know, as opposed to being in your own vehicle driving to cross the border.
Go
Which one's
figure.
safer?
Makes no sense. Go figure.
Which one is safer? Not to mention all the, you know,
That probably just shows to go you that they probably don't know what they're talking about.
I certainly don't.
Yeah, I don't want to even hazard a guess.
Yeah.
anyways, we got to be careful with our conversations. We have an audience that actually likes us to talk about model airplanes, so we'll do that.
Well, I suppose if you get in the wrong air blast from the top, you might hurt yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So, so I was going to say, you guys, I was in great anticipation, and I'm repeating myself for those who didn't hear me say earlier. And I go to the flying field day. A good buddy Joe Mata comes to help me out. Hey, Eddie, I think, do you have another tab open, Eddie?
Nope.
All right. Maybe it's someone else. But welcome, Eddie. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
So anyways, so I'm in so much anticipation. I'm trying not to be too excited because I'm trying to, I don't want anything unfortunate to happen.
You're trying to be cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to be cool, all right. So anyway, so this is so strange. I signaled to Joe to let the plane go. I had a handle in my hand, and the plane nose is over. And then he shows me how it is just ready to tip at any suggestion of anything. So, Al Ferrero, he did save my bacon by suggesting I move the lead outs back. With me moving the engine back 5/8 of an inch, back toward the end of the plane, that I need to move the lead outs, which I did. But I was surprised the landing gear was effective. I didn't even consider that what I was doing was going to mess with the landing gear.
You moved it far back enough that you needed to have a nose.
You guys, one at a time. I think John started first, so hang on, Carl.
I think you moved it back far enough that you needed to have a nose wheel.
I need to make it a tricycle landing gear.
Yeah.
I don't want to add any more weight to that plane, but otherwise, that would be neat to have a tricycle gear.
Got to try and find out who's got the double image going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of background.
Yeah, it's killing me. I can't hear nothing.
Okay, well, let me check mine. I just turn the mic off and we'll see what happens.
Okay, we'll all do it. One at a time.
I still hear it. I'm going to mute you, Carl, so just sit still there. Hey, what's up, Mark?
What?
I don't know where it's coming from. It seems to tone down now, right now.
Yeah, I think it's gone. It might have been Carl.
It's not me. I'm on my phone, so I can't have it one open.
All
That's
right.
right.
Well, anyways, how's it sound to you now, Lynn?
It's nice and clear. It's
Okay.
good right now.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, John. It's not you. It's
All right.
I think it's Carl.
And that's okay, Carl. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. No
when you're
big
ready
deal.
to talk, just unmute your mic. You might have something else in the background, Carl, another tab or something. But anyways, you're muted at this time. So let me.
Okay, how's that sound?
Your audio is almost
Over boosted.
yeah. Your volume when you speak is you're almost clipping. I can't explain why your laptop is doing that. I have no idea.
And it came back on, and all the noise came back too. Like there's something else talking in the background.
The noise came back. Okay, let me know. Just give me a thumbs up.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's better when you're muted, Carl. So it's on your end. You might have a radio in the background, a TV. These mics, they pick up everything.
What I did is I went and bought a internet cable and went directly from my router to the laptop, and so maybe it's picking it up from the router.
Yeah, Carl, you're gonna probably have to be on mute, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
Anyways, where was we?
You were talking about wishing you had a trike gear.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
that would be a
kind of
solution.
stinks.
That would be a
Stringer
solution.
with a trike gear. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And we see Jorge Gonzalez says, hello, my friends from Medellin, Colombia, South America. Nice to see you all. Well, nice to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in, Jorge, and you're welcome to come inside here. If you're a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link at the bench, and then come on in with the link that has today's date. And then Marcel Legrand, he says, good evening, Stunthangar team. Thank you, Marcel Legrand. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that.
Hey, Marcel, check your emails.
All righty, so we are back. And anybody do any flying lately? I know that did anybody see the contest? Sparky did a great job this weekend on site at the contest in Dayton, Ohio, showing the contest. Anybody watch that and enjoy that?
Yeah,
I
I
was-
was injured.
Yeah.
Really
I watched a little
enjoyable.
bit of it.
I sure appreciate Sparky.
But where I watched it, they were all just sitting around, yakking a bunch and burning logs.
Yeah, that one part, yeah, where they're just talking, yeah. I mean, when I was watching that part where they're talking, I've told people that this show is kind of like being at a contest where we're just hanging out and talking, And but I think this show is better than that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Tell you
do any
what,
flying,
I
but did
kind of put a comment on the forum last night asking about the original colors of the original 59 Aries.
Yeah,
And I sure appreciate Bob Hunt getting on there and telling me what the colors were and everything else. And he actually sent me a comment later on today that he got a call from Billy yesterday. and
Really?
doing drastically better. He's going to
That's
be up in
fantastic.
eastern Pennsylvania and competing at that contest hunt CDing.
it's before the snow flies.
Before the snow flies. I wish I could go do that. I think with my health stuff, I'm really tired right now, but I figured.
Well, you're welcome there.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Bobby.
Bob. I sure
Hey.
appreciate that.
That was
I
ironic.
asked another
Hey, Bob.
question on there. Do you happen to know if the blue of the Junar is that same dark blue from the original Aries? That's a gorgeous blue.
Are you talking about the Juno, not the Junar?
No, the Junar.
Junar was not.
No, the
Junar-
Juno, I mean. Yeah, right.
Juno.
That gorgeous dark
No,
blue.
it was well.
Yeah, I love that color.
Well, here's the deal on the Juno. I was talking to Billy actually, like you said, yesterday, I talked to him at length, actually. Just as a brief aside, Billy called me up. I haven't talked to Billy in a while. He has this habit of when he's not feeling good, he doesn't talk to anybody. So he hasn't been talking to anybody in quite a while because he's been very ill. And he's had some kidney issues. Now, he said it was okay to talk about this. He's had some bad kidney issues, and his doctor just told him that he had to go on to dialysis.
Oh,
So he's been doing that 3 days a week, 4 hours a day. And he said he feels like he's 18 again. He's got his breath back. He's got his lungs back. He's
Good
he's
deal.
working
Awesome.
hard.
Tell him hang in
He's
there,
never done
right?
in the last 25 years. So he's actually feeling really good. So we talked a lot about the Aries, and I mentioned that thread to him, and he said, yeah. He said he mixed two bottles of Aerogloss together. I think it was blue and black. He wanted the darkest blue he could possibly get. So he mixed a little bit of black in with blue, and he got this dark blue. And then he trimmed it with a medium light blue, and then the red, he said, was almost a pinkish color in a way.
Yeah.
And then but you referenced the Juno. The Juno was from a whole different era. He had stopped using Aerogloss by that point in time, and he was taking automobile toner colors. He would go and buy the toners and put it into dope, and that's how he made the colors in this later part of his modeling career. And
that is such a gorgeous airplane.
Everybody thinks it's black, but it's actually just very, very dark blue. And he made it up, to be as dark blue as possible.
Okay.
So,
Wow. That's cool.
Well,
A
for
little
me,
history.
tell Billy to hang in there. I have a niece
oh yeah, well, I think
who
Billy's doing great.
who has battled kidney problems her entire life. She is 35 or 36 and had her second transplant and finally got a life.
Wow.
She's been doing dialysis since she was 16.
Oh my goodness.
And how old is she now?
She's in her 30s. She's
Okay.
a chaplain of all things now. Cool.
Very cool.
She's up in North Dakota right now.
Awesome.
Her health has been, she's a God thing. She's a God person.
Oh, wow.
God's kept her with us all these years.
Awesome.
And I'm hanging in there, but that lovely COVID is something else. I'll tell you what, guys.
Yeah,
I have other underlying issues. I'm not that old, but I've had some other underlying issues, namely a smoker for 41 years. So, of course, it gave me double pneumonia. And
Hey, Mike, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Mike. I had someone come in to our show last week, and they went on their health, and I care about each and every one of you. Honestly, do. I'd love to hear it. But we have an audience that wants to hear about model airplanes. So, but in the after party, we can talk. We can talk more about it. I'm interested, but I feel I really failed the people here a couple of weeks ago, and I'm determined to not do that again. So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And anyways, hey, Walter Moore, thanks for coming in. And I can see how blessed you are with your lovely wife just being right on you. That is so sweet.
thank you, Charles.
That is your wife, right?
That is,
That's his girlfriend. Come on.
yeah. See, we're getting ready to celebrate an anniversary, and thank you for the recognition. Yes, she is my wife.
Wow, yeah, she looks really lovely, and just like you're really blessed, man. It's awesome.
I feel blessed. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I've
Hey,
had more
question, Charles.
yes, Mike.
Have you ever thought of trying to go to the VSC? If I get well and build something, I'm thinking about trying to go to Tucson.
I am. I went to the VSC 20, or was it? No, it's 2020. I went to VSC, and after going once, I said, whoa, I've been missing out, because VSC is kind of like Rodax.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they
But a lot closer for me.
camaraderie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a fun contest to go to. So yeah, I would like to, and it is a little bit of a drive for me, maybe 8 or 9 hours.
It's about the
But,
same
you know,
for me. So
But well worth it. And there was a guy there, I can't think of his name. I'm sure if I say his name, you'll recognize him, but he drove all the way down from Yellowfin.
Ooh, in Canada?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
would be
drive.
Whitney.
Gordon,
Was that Gordon Tarble? Was that his name?
but he came from Yellowfin. And it's like him and his wife drove down, and they've been doing this for years.
I think that's
Yellow,
Whitney, isn't
yellow
it?
fin or yellow knife?
I think it's Yellowknife.
That's better.
Yellowknife.
Was
Yellow
that
Knife.
Gordon Tarble?
Whitney.
I don't remember the name, but I think Gordon was part of the name.
Gordon something, yeah.
Yeah,
Gordon
that was
Von
just like,
Tigthem or something like that. I've seen that name. That's
anyway,
a
he
long
drove a lot
drive.
further than anybody.
Gordon
long
Van
way.
Tighem. Gordon Van Tighem.
That's who it
Yes,
is.
I think
yes.
that's it.
That's
yeah.
who it is. That's right.
I
I
got the
know
Gordon.
Gordon. I know Gordon, and I don't know Gordon personally, but I do know of him, and I know of Yellowknife, not Yellowfin.
All right, Yellowknife, it is.
Yellowknife, yes.
That is a long drive, right?
That's a huge long
my.
drive. Wow,
That's almost
unreal.
Alaska, isn't it?
It's a long
It's up in the
one.
Northwest Territory.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was a long drive. Let
Good
me
for
say
him.
hi to Phil. Thanks for coming in, Phil. And thank you, Dennis, for coming in. Appreciate it. And you guys, last time I let the chat get away from me. See, what happens if I don't pay attention to these guys, they
Be right
just
back.
have their own conversation. Then we have two dynamics, and I can't catch up. So I don't want to let them get too far ahead of me. So Marcel Legrand, he says, "Hi, John." And he goes, "I just checked my email and found the reply in my spam folder. I thank you very much for it. It is much different than the original kit."
If I go to the VSC this
I don't think
this
anybody.
spring,
knew.
I think I'm just going to try to keep it simple and build an Excalibur and see if I can fly an Excalibur.
That's a good airplane. You'll never regret it.
It was a very good airplane.
You talk about driving to VSC. Billy and I drove to VSC 9 years in a row, straight through. The only time we stopped was we stayed one time at Al Raby's house overnight, but every other time we drove straight through.
Wow.
That's a long drive. I've got like 800. I'm in
Wow.
I'm about 11 miles from the New Mexico border on I-25 and about 6 miles west.
Oh, you're
So
right.
it's
Like,
not that far.
Oh,
from
come
me.
on, beginner.
you're
Yeah.
like right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too far. Just kind of dynamic.
It's a
We're
one-time
28
trip for
miles.
you.
We did over 2,800 miles each time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he
One
did a
way.
Yeah,
one-time
those
trip.
trips sounded like that was a
Wow,
long
that's
drive.
amazing.
I
You
would
were-
have
you were
enjoyed
the-
being on
I
that.
tell you, the trip down with Billy, him being a musician and me playing music, and we've vacillated back and forth between finding better harmonies for Jackson Browne and Grateful Dead songs and talking about airplanes. It was about half and half. So we were doing all
Yeah.
these things,
so
That's
how
why
long
you
did
had
it
that-
take you?
How long did it take? Well, I left here. I would leave here in the East Coast in Pennsylvania, right on the Delaware River, at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. I'd pick Billy up in Berea, Ohio, at about 2 or 3 in the morning on Friday morning, and we'd be
Okay.
in Tucson late Saturday.
Wow,
that,
Good grief.
wild. That's wild.
Bob, have
That's
Bob?
a brutal
that
drive.
driving experience you're talking about with Billy and the music and all that. Now I know why you're always in Lucky Pike's living room with the big jam session going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to have another one because he's coming into the Before the Snow Flies contest there in October. And we got Rick Campbell, who's a phenomenal guitar player, and Billy and myself and whoever else wants to show up and play. We're going to have at the pizza party on Saturday night, we're going to have a big jam session. So
Oh,
Oh
cool.
man, I'd love to.
it'll be fun.
There's no way I'm going to have funds or anything else to be able to do it. But the wife and I are both talking about trying to do that next year for that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Love
great.
to have you.
I've never been to the East Coast other than when I went to Germany in the Air Force and flew into Philly when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. So
Because I'm a Giants fan.
October in Pennsylvania sounds gorgeous.
because I'm a Giants fan living out here in Eagles territory. My next door neighbor is a huge Eagles fan.
Yeah.
And before they won their Super Bowl, I used to tell them that I rooted for a team that occasionally wins a Super Bowl. And now I tell them, you guys have one. Isn't that cute?
The team I grew up has won 3, but it took them forever to do it.
Yeah, we got 4.
The lovely Broncos. And I have refused to watch the Broncos since Kaepernick. I will not watch the NFL.
Hey, Mike, can you raise your mic a little bit? Your camera, we're seeing your eyes and below.
Yeah,
Just- you can
Mike,
raise-
this is the top of my computer, so I don't
I'll
know.
tell you one thing, Mike.
There's
Mike,
better.
Mike, if you decide to come to the before the snow flies contest next year, you might want to bring a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't come
I'm
the way you
sure.
are.
Yes, it's brutally hot here. And with me trying to get my lungs back after my fun. The other fun part we're having, even though we're so far from you guys, Charles,
Yeah.
our skies are full of smoke.
Oh, I bet.
I'm breathing smoke and it's not helping.
I
think I'm gonna.
Mine here in
switch
Utah
off
are
and
the
try to get
same
me
way.
some rest here pretty quick. Get
I bet.
my oxygen stuff set up and get some rest.
We just lost.
You guys have a good night.
Who did we lose? We lost somebody.
I don't know.
Yeah,
To get back to airplanes just a bit, John, that little thread on Stunthangar about hunting, the hunting of airplanes, and you mentioned that the counter rotating props on the twins was probably the cause. I'm doubting that, and I'll tell you why. Because I actually flew that second wind when I flew it at the Nats. I flew with the tops of both props turning towards the pilot. They were all turning reverse pitch.
Oh,
They weren't counter rotating.
were they coming this way? Look,
They were both turning towards the top of the prop was turning towards the pilot. They were both reverse pitch props.
well, that's interesting because the little red Gordon's little red Pathfinder has because it uses a OS 15s, has both the props turning like that.
Right.
But we had, I think that has some downsides. Anyway, I don't know. I've noticed that when the props are turning counter to each other, that that any problems you get, like with a single engine, where you get the precession and it wants to raise the nose as you're flying, it's canceled out by the other prop on the twin going the other way.
I'm just mentioning this because it goes against what you were, I'm not saying that that's not a factor. What I'm saying is it's interesting to note that I had both reverse pitch props when I flew it at the Nats in 2015, and the thing still moved like a freight train. Now, subsequent to that, I did go back to the counter rotating props. The only permutation I never did try was both the props turning away from the canopy, the tops of the props turning away from the canopy. Right. That's the only one I didn't try.
Well, did you see Ty Marcucci's reply on that, where he talked about he had one, but he wound up making it go faster, and I think that's a legitimate thing. I think as you go faster, your aerodynamics take over stronger than the precession is, and anyway, there's a lot to learn about that.
A lot of factors in those twins. The fact that there's no spiral airflow around the fuselage.
Right.
And spiral airflow from a normal rotation propeller, as we all know, throws air up on the bottom of the inside wing, down on the top of the outside wing, around the fuselage, hits the bottom of the inside stabilizer, down on the top of the outside stabilizer. But moreover, it's hitting the vertical fin, which has most of its area above the vertical center of gravity.
Right.
So it's tending to cause, and because you have your center of gravity or your balance point where it is very far forward, and you have that pressure on that fin, it's like a weather vane. So it's trying to, it's a single motor airplane with a standard pitch propeller. It's trying to do a left yaw and a right roll.
Right.
Right. So if you reverse the pitch on a single engine airplane, you're going to do tend to push the nose out, which is why they get more tension. But you're also going to get a left roll. So you're going to get a right yaw and a left roll. But if you do a twin, all that goes away.
It does. And I'm not sure of all the answers, but it sure is interesting because you're absolutely right. That's why I said, I believe you're right. You know, when it comes to the twins, a lot of those kind of problems that have to do with precession and roll and pitch and yaw and all that, the twin tends to seem to have a way of
the old groove, like freight trains. And but the point being that they still groove even if they're both turning the same way. So that's why I believe it's a stiction problem. I believe that there is some sort of a friction built up because there's no vibration in the airplane, and the lead outs can stick easily. But if you have two motors running, even if they're not glow motors, they still have a certain resonance frequency in the airframe that causes a little bit of a vibration that breaks up the stiction. I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong.
You might be right. You know, I have no real experience of dealing with an electric powered single engine design to where I can say, well, you need to have the down thrust or not, or it's a stiction problem. But I have got a lot of experience with down thrust on an IC motor. And I can tell you that down thrust on an IC motor almost completely solves the hunting problem.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it might be there's enough vibration going on there that it's getting rid of the stiction problem. I don't know, you know.
I don't either. I'm just kind of blue skying here, but I'm kind of referencing your post today, you know. So
sure.
Question.
Yeah.
You're talking about the electric motors turning counter rotating props. Do you do the same thing with IC?
Well, you can.
You can find a left-handed crankshaft. Yeah, you could do it.
Okay, I was say so. You have to have one timed to run counter.
It's a special crank. There's a crank
The only
for
one I
right-hand
can remember.
rotation and a crank for
The only
left.
one I can remember was a Fox 35 that we could get counter rotating cranks for.
Right.
Because I know, you know, you get a 049, you know, little Cox 049 with the intake up at the top, they'll run either way.
Right.
That don't make enough precession to do anything.
Yeah.
That little, we tried running speed models and we ran one left-handed and one right-handed with the same motor each way with two motors, one that was left-hand rotation, one that was right-hand rotation. And one model that I flew, it went this way, and one model that I flew, it went that way. And I had to turn the handle over, but I did it. And the speed was the same. We had overlooking this little project, we had Elmer Huff and I can't remember Herlocker's first name, who held a bunch of speed records at the time. And that myth, that's just a myth. That thing about the turning it the other way is less friction and it's less this and it's faster. That's bull. Doesn't do a thing.
I just didn't know if you had to have a special engine to run an IC the opposite, you know, clockwise or
different crank. You have to have a different crank.
Wendy Arnowski, when he had his twins, he had some special crankshafts made to do that.
I heard about that. That's right.
I remember seeing those.
You don't need to, right? You can run two regular twins.
I've flown them almost every permutation. I've flown them both turning inward. Now wait a minute. I didn't fly it both turning outward. I flew it both turning away from each other, both turning towards each other, and then both turning towards the pilot, the tops of the props, both reverse pitch prop. And it didn't seem to make a difference. It really didn't seem to make a difference. I was surprised. I thought that the counter rotating props would eliminate a lot of problems.
I've got plans, and I'll probably never get around to building it, but it's a twin Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was gonna put
F-82.
it's a It was what was it, 101 inch RC plans that I shrunk down to approximately 62 inch, something like that, and was going to put a couple of 35s on them or 29, whatever. I don't, like I say, I don't know what size, how much power I'm going to need, how much I'm, if whatever, but with the two IC engines, with them turning the same directions, it's not going to affect it that much. I mean, it won't be contest or nothing like that. It'd be just fun flying.
Well, Eddie,
Yeah.
let me jump in here on this one, Bob. Eddie, the bigger the engine, everybody, it used to be for years, people would make a twin and they put a 35, they were used to flying that design with a 35. They put a center section, put another fuselage on it, put another 35 on it. So you can pull your arm off.
Yeah. Well, I was just going by with the wingspan of a 60-inch wingspan. Y'all are flying the PH-75s and stuff like that. So I figured 235s would be the equivalent of the same power. I didn't know.
Way overkill. 20.
Okay.
25s.
25s would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess too, it depends on
There's
how
a
light I
question
can build.
from
Gordon
Denny.
Delaney's little red twin is a
Yeah, I was
full-size
just,
Pathfinder with
I
a
just
pair of
double-
15s.
Oh, hang on, Denny. I prompted you too quickly. Go ahead and finish, John, and then let Denny come in.
Okay. Gordon Delaney's little red Pathfinder twin is a full-size Pathfinder Mark II with the nacelles with 15s on it. A pair of 15s. Flies like a treat.
Okay.
Go ahead, Denny.
I was just gonna say, I just double checked it here. Look up the Wikipedia piece that they have on the F-82 Twin Mustang. As originally built, the airplane would not take off the ground because of the rotation of propellers. After a month, they figured out, they swapped the engine side for side, got the rotation of propellers right, and it actually influenced the lift of the wing where it would actually take off. And you're talking an airplane with some 3,200 horsepower and everything like that. It would seem that takeoff would have been a pretty easy thing for a fighter to do. But there is, I guess the gist of it, or my take on that is there is a strong cross component between the way the propellers turn and the way you're getting lift. And I bet, just looking at that, you'd have to conclude there must have been a difference in the way that, and if you do that on a stunt plane, maybe it influences how it turns inside and outside and everything like that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I've had a Jack Sheik's Mosquito framed up forever. I haven't finished it up. It was going to be electric. And I definitely wanted to explore the things like Bob was talking about. And my feeling was that I was going to end up, I fully expected the best configuration was going to be 2 lefty props on it. Just because I like the torque reaction and things like that, and nothing to gain with the righties and lefties gives you something. But I'm not sure, and then I gotta defer to the man with the experience. But I'm not absolutely certain that a opposite rotation is going to be the great panacea for everything. Everybody thinks, oh well, no torque. I'm not so sure that that's an advantage. But
I can tell you
whatever.
from experience. Again, I tried it originally thinking, and all the talk was, everybody we had both sessions with said, counter rotate them, make the tops of the props turn towards the canopy. It's interesting to note, you're talking about full-size airplanes. The P-38 Lightning was designed originally with the tops of the props turning towards the canopy. And the test pilot, a guy named Fish Salmon, who was a very famous test pilot for the Skunk Works, he almost crashed the airplane. And they determined that it was because of the aerodynamic properties of the props turning towards each other. They switched the motors, had the props turn away from each other, and then it flew great. And if you look on Wings, if you ever watch Wings on the History Channel, you see the P-38 Lightnings landing on those tropical fields. And when they're spooling down, you can see the props tops of the props turning away from the canopy. So, but I tried it almost every way. But I can tell you that there wasn't any difference in the way the airplane flew or turned or tracked or locked, turning them counter-rotating towards each other or turning them both reverse pitch props towards the pilot. I didn't notice any difference, which was actually disappointing in a way.
No, actually, and I agree that would be a disappointment that you could put it on any old way and not see a result. But
guys, can I interrupt? Can I interrupt you guys? Because I have a person in the chat. He has a question for you, Bob Hunt.
Yeah.
Dan Winship. You know Dan.
No, said, never talked to the guy before in my life.
Okay. Look out for that lightning bolt, Bob.
Well, let me read this here. Charles asked Bob Hunt to talk about those tabs he has on his elevators.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a few minutes. We want to, yeah, I will. And by the way, Dan took me over to this trailer that he had at the Nationals. Did anybody else at the Nats Danny, did you get a chance to see that trailer he had?
No, I did not.
He's doing handyman work, and he produced a trailer that has, I can't even explain how exquisite it is.
It is.
Yeah.
The cabinet.
I have seen it. I've seen it in his videos. Yes, exquisite is the right word.
It's just unbelievable. What a craftsman this guy is. But he
with
was
the stuff that he turned out for CL, would you really expect any less? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, really, all that control system hardware was jewelry. My wife wanted to steal his earrings, you know. Beautiful.
Yeah, he was amazing. His stuff is amazing. He
was amazing.
He's just beautiful.
He showed there's a video. If you watch, I think day 2 of the Dayton contest that Sparky just did live streaming this weekend. There was a part on Saturday where Dan Winship takes his camera, or maybe Sparky's camera, into the trailer and shows it all. And he gives credit to this guy for the plans that he downloaded that he built that thing out.
Yeah, but we can all build off plans, and we don't always all turn out the same thing, you know. This thing is like, this is
true enough. We won't go into how many times I've tried building a Pentland Spitfire that hasn't worked.
And there are ringmasters, and then there are ringmasters.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't think I said hello to Peter. Peter, thank you for coming in, Peter.
I don't see Pete.
Oh, my right under you.
The bottom, yeah.
Yeah, it's right underneath you, Phil.
Well, John's right under me on mine, so I don't know. This is all mixed up. But anyway,
Pardon the noise in the back.
My wife says if I don't pipe down, she's going to bring the terrorist in. That's our little schnauzer. I'm gonna be quiet now, guys.
The terrorist.
Right.
I'm scared of that woman. 47 years. I'm scared of her.
You should be.
You know, Bob, one thing. More or less schnauzers. One thing I wanted to throw by you here, since we've been talking about props and possessions.
Yeah.
Is that when electrics first began to take over the world, everybody was wanting to go to the left-hand turn and to the
reverse pitch.
Yeah, the reverse pitch, with the hopes that they would have more line tensions where they needed it, stuff like that. But I've noticed that most everybody's gone back, and I think, yeah, a lot of people have gone back anyway. And I think it's because they're going back to the devil they know rather than the devil they don't.
You know, when I switched over to the active timers, everybody said you got to run the Igor's prop, or the one he sells, because it's so light and you have less inertia in the prop legs, and it allows the active system, to accelerate and decelerate the propeller, which, makes sense. So I went to the Igor prop, or the one he sells, and I tried to force myself to like it. And I just did not fly the airplane as well as my lightened reverse pitch Cox Ressinger 3-blade. Now, true, I had to take a lot of weight out of it to get it to work with the active timer, but like an hour and a half with a Dremel drum sander I took off about 9 or 10 grams off the prop, and it works great. It flies the airplane way better, and it's way stiffer. So I like the reverse pitch, but again, some people like, hey, listen, that's why they make different kinds of everything,
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night and shut lights down and get me some rest.
All right, Mike.
Have
Thanks
a
for
good
coming
one.
in.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself.
Take
Yep.
care,
Yeah.
Mike. I didn't mean to walk over the top of you, Phil. I thought you were done.
Yeah, I was just going, my big brother Bob here is the guy who first introduced me with the idea of reverse pitch props. And let's say it took me one vertical 8, 1 hourglass, and that was the end of my discussion. I haven't flown a right hand prop since. All right. And I don't know. It certainly we prove you can fly. There's been a lot of good stunt patterns flown with conventional props, right? It's not, but the thing is, the lefty prop gives me something I cannot get by any means with a right hand prop. And and that is the second and third corner of the hourglass. I can hit corners, not something that looks like a corner. I can hit that as hard as I can, the corner that's on the bottom, and deliver the shape. Guaranteed. I can do a vertical 8 and never even think about the line tension on the top half. I've flown other, I see airplanes, right-hand prop airplanes that do nice vertical 8s and everything like that, but they all get lighter on the top than they are on the bottom and everything else. And hey, since nobody has asked yet, here's part of the proof.
Congratulations.
Look at there. Huh?
Hey, fantastic.
Yeah.
You did that at the Circle Masters, huh?
Yeah, that's it, John. Your old buddies up in Milwaukee.
Outstanding.
Peter Mick says hi.
Oh,
we were up there for the Bob Gianaldini Memorial over the weekend. I know the other Bob would have, he mentioned before that he would have loved to have made that meet and stuff, and especially, a couple of years ago when Bob was still able to come out to it and stuff like that. And obviously we lost him last year. But yeah, nice meet. We had a great time. Nice meet up there. A lot of nice people. I was up there. My son lives 45 minutes away, so it was real nice. And went up, stayed the night before, stayed with him, and a nice leisurely drive in and out and everything. So it all worked well. But thank you guys for asking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Congratulations, Dennis. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah. Hey,
Jenny,
yes,
did Janelle show up?
Who?
Janelle, Bob's daughter.
No, I did not see anybody from the family, and yeah, that was a disappointment. But
I know she was going to try.
Did anybody feed any brats? Did anybody feed you any brats?
It doesn't ring any bells either. So
you know what brats are?
What's that?
Bratwurst.
Bratwurst.
Oh, geez. I thought you said Jenny Brats. I thought, what the hell? No, actually, what they did for lunch is they took an order for the field and they went over to the local sub shop. So even that turned out great. So they had sub $10. You got a sub, a bag of chips, a chocolate chip cookie, and all the soft drinks you could drink. All right.
Nice.
That's
how big was it? How big was the turnout?
Not really big, about a dozen, 15 people or so. One of the big things, you guys up around Chicago way, you may know Dennis Vandiker has been he's been having a real battle the last few years. I think he's lost a little over 100 pounds and everything like that. He's been going through hell. He flew yesterday and he won the profile event.
Wow.
So I am so pumped for that. I mean, the man has literally been through hell, and he's still hanging in there. And it just tickled at that to see that. That was a personal highlight for me just to see him out there. And then he was flying. It's like great. So.
I remember when he won advanced at the Nationals.
then when what again? I'm sorry.
I remember when Dennis won advanced at the Nationals.
That's right. 3 or 4 years ago, was it?
Yeah, 2015 or something, or someplace back then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I saw, he was flying real well. He was flying a Brodak P40. He's still a little weak, a little shaky. He doesn't want to fly a big airplane. He's flying a Brodak P40 with, I don't know, I think probably had an LA on it or something like that. Nice setup. And man, he was on it. He looked really good. So
was Michael Schmidt there? Did Mike show up?
Yeah, the whole Chicago crew. Mike, Jordy Segal. See some of the folks from Western Chicago. Can't even remember names. I think it was Jim Schuett and Fred Krueger and a few other names. Whatever. Yeah, they didn't have a big turnout, but they had Chicago. Ellen Goff showed up, which kind of surprised me. But they had stunt and scale, so Alan flew scale too. So it was kind of a tough thing because I wanted the same day we had the Dayton contest, and Dayton is like a 2.5 hour ride. It's really much closer, and I haven't flown Dayton since the 70s. I really wanted to go there and stuff, but they come out on the same day and stuff, and I felt I wanted to go visit Milwaukee again. So like I said, I had a good time when I flew there 3 years ago.
Well, you're traveling. You're traveling now to contests. Are you going to come to ours?
It's on the short list. All right. So
we're having old time.
I'll tell you what. Even Stephen McBride was here last Friday talking about Las Vegas and everything like that. I've got an airplane I can fold up and put in a box. I might end up in Las Vegas for all I know. I don't think I want to drive to Las Vegas for a weekend contest, but.
Yeah, it would be wonderful. Yeah, people come out to Las Vegas. I mean, she'd be able to get a flight and an inexpensive hotel and good contests.
Well, Steve said he was doing things like he was gonna, loan out airplanes to anybody who showed up and everything like that. And Mike already says he wants the best airplane. That he wants to make sure that you don't get the best airplane. I figure, what the heck? I'm no better than third in the pecking order here. I better bring my own airplane. So what the heck?
Yes.
No, that's a big. Bob mentioned it. You come this area, and Bob's would be probably the first. There's a whole bunch of contests here in the month of August. We got this weekend. We got Detroit. Weekend after that, the FCM. Then we got, I think, a week off, and then back to Aurora. I think in September, I think there's one in St. Louis, one in Cleveland, and then Bob's contest. 1st of October, is it? Or
second and third of the flying days.
Okay, yeah.
First of the Friday, that's the field will be open. One circle will be open for practice, and then on Saturday we're going to have. We're hosting the Garden State Circle Burners, hosting the belated 50th anniversary of Old Time Stunt and their last running of the Old Time Stunt event for that club. Because there's only 3 guys left of the club,
Wow.
Well, I'm making plans to be there.
They must be running John Miskey's rules too, right? Which basically kind of shortens the list of eligible airplanes.
Yeah, you can. No, I'm the contest director. I'm the contest director. You can fly a stiletto if you want. I don't care.
All right. Well, hey, it's kind of old, so what the hell? That'll work.
The 10-point bonus or hit on the flaps bonus thing. That'll get you.
Yeah, that's it. No, there's it been kind of a month of July, we had nothing going on. Of course, we were, crashing to get ready, or crunching to get ready for the Nationals in June. Nothing in July, and then everything's happening in August now, and September and October. So I'm hoping to get some miles here.
We got a lot of them on the East Coast too. We had that won the Philly Flyers a week ago Sunday, and then this past Sunday we had not yesterday, but week ago, we had the Middlesex meet, which I won.
Congratulations!
All right.
Yeah, let's see.
Congratulations, Bob.
All right.
Yeah, and we have the this weekend we have the one down in Tim Stagg's meet down in Maryland, and then they have the Northern Virginia group, Scott Richland's contest, and then we have the one in New York, the Gene Schaefer Memorial, which I am the defending champion.
All right.
Woohoo!
Well, you showed your trophy. I'm gonna show mine.
Well, that's it. Well, that's it. My trophy dances though. So.
Mm.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
that's
I guess I guess did anybody here go to Dayton yesterday? I guess
One of our guys did, but I didn't.
yeah. My flying buddy Wesley Dick flew. I guess he got a third in Classic on Saturday and a fourth in Pampa on Sunday. But for him, the bigger personal thing might have been that John Paris won expert on Sunday flying Wes's Velvet design with the double slotted flap arrangement.
Wow.
Let me tell you, Wes is like a proud daddy. All right. And I asked him if John let him share the trophy or something like that. He says, "What do you mean share? I ain't letting it out of my sight, you know." So I don't know, but John, of course, is a heck of a flyer and everything like that. But
Yeah, he is. Good fellow too.
Wes was tickled to death to see somebody else flying this airplane and flying it well. So
I bet. You guys, let me interrupt for a second. You guys mentioned Michael Schmidt, and he's in the audience, so he's in the chat box. So if you have a question for Michael Schmidt, go ahead and ask away. But Michael Schmidt asked me a question, and I'm sorry, Michael, that I didn't see it. I was talking earlier about my Strega, and I went to take off it just with nose over, and he asked me, wing-mounted gear, did the gear get bent aft? Mike, I don't know, Michael, I don't know what happened, Michael. It caught me by surprise that the plane was nosing over after moving the engine back, 5/8 of an inch. And so I missed that question earlier. And then Marcel Legrand, he said, I sure would love to come over and fly one of your competitions one day, guys. And I think, Marcel, you're from New Zealand, right?
We'd love to have you there.
Yeah.
Love to have you.
I know that.
Come over and fly at our contest.
You would love to do that. So
you do that, Bob will come fly at one of yours.
And right now,
I tell you what, they're working on Hobby Park redoing it, paving parking lots and doing a lot of work. If we ever get to both circles redone and get the grass circle, it's supposed to now be going to be AstroTurf, Bob. If we ever get that done, I'm gonna start trying to get you down here for our contest, because we're gonna have a humdinger. We're sure gonna try.
Yeah.
We reopened the park because we've been 3 years without that upper circle, and the cracks are so bad in the other two circles. It's the grass. We have to go out there and spray it and cut it and everything. The city keeps fussing at us for doing it. You're not supposed to do that, but if we don't, nobody does.
How far are you from Charlotte?
Hour and 10 minutes from the field down there.
My brother.
You've been here before. Yeah, you've been here before, Bob.
My brother lives in Waxhaw, just east of Charlotte.
Yeah.
So I got to visit him and then go to the contest.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you. Get you down here and see how it's supposed to be flown.
Well, you got the guys down there that know how it's supposed to be flown.
Not so many of us anymore, brother.
Hey, defending champion for Gene Schaefer Memorial.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. So
We just like to get Bob down here because it's just fun to have Bob back. He's just a character.
Yeah. You guys don't know what.
Just putting these things on the back of my elevators that Dan was referencing. At some point in time here, if we can go over that if you want to.
Please do.
Yeah. Does a cat have a climbing gear? How you reckon we learn?
What's that?
I said, does a cat do we want to? Does a cat have a climbing gear? Of course we want to. That's how we learn.
I can't take any credit for this, except for the fact that I'm kicking myself because I thought to do this like 8 or 10 years ago when I first saw these indoor RC aerobatic airplanes. And everybody ever watched the videos of the indoor radio control pattern World Championship? It's not believable what they do.
Yeah.
But if you look at their airplanes, there's drag plates and doodads all over their airplanes. Behind the surfaces, they actually have plates that create drag. And I thought to do this for several years and never did it, so I can't take credit for it. But Paul Walker, Howard Rush, and Dennis Newton, who occasionally comes in here, they had them on their airplanes. On the back of their elevators, they had little plates that's stuck up nominally 1/8 of an inch above and 1/8 of an inch below the elevator at the trailing edge. And they say that it increased the groove and the lock and even the corner of the airplane. So I came home and made some up, put them on my Crossfire, and took it out to the field. And I can tell you this much: if anybody ever tries to take them off, I'm going to break their arms.
Are they just square tabs, or are they like a spoiler on the back of a sports car or something? Or are they just square?
It's dead. Mine are dead flat. Some of them I just have little ramps going up to them. I think that the configuration has yet to be determined what's optimal, because none of us have had enough time to experiment to find out. The chances that any of us hit on the optimal setup right off the bat is 1 in a million. So we just got to make a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to make the next airplane with the trailing edge of the elevators. I'm going to put little basswood inserts, and I'm going to thread them. And so I can put on all different kinds of plates. I can just at the field, and I can do A/B comparisons flight to flight. But I got to tell you,
cool.
The lock, it made the airplane so much fun to fly that I want to go to every contest in the world right now.
Wow.
It's just amazing. It's made me feel like a teenager.
And this is the Crossfire. My
It's
goodness.
on the Crossfire, but they're going to go on the Genesis, and they're probably going to go on my dog.
So how long are these plates?
I've always worked on the assumption that if a little bit is good, a whole lot more is better, and too much is perfect. So where Howard's were like fairly short, like 4 inches, and maybe stuck up a 1/16 of an inch or so.
Okay.
And I think Dennis's were a little bigger than that. I made like 7-inch long ones and made them stick up a full 1/8 of an inch top and bottom, and just taped them on. What I did was I took 2 pieces of 64th plywood, 7 inches long, and I measured with a vernier, I measured the trailing edge of the elevator for thickness, and I made a piece of wood that thick and glued it between the 2 pieces of 64th, which were about 1 inch wide. So they would slide up over the elevator, and I could tape them in place.
Yeah, exactly.
And onto the back of that, I glued the vertical plate on, an 1/8 piece of 1/8 balsa, 7 inches long, and it stuck up 1/8 of an inch above the elevator and 1/8 of an inch below the elevator.
This is so cool.
Man, does it work. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but there's an old saying, pretty is as pretty does,
Wow.
Well, if you can figure out what you need and then incorporate it into the build, you can make it look like it's just not stuck on there.
Well, yeah. I mean, eventually, they're always going to look like different than we're used to. But everybody's using trip tape now and vortex generators and all kinds of doodads and gingerbread all over the airplane, and they're all being accepted at appearance points. I mean, Paul Walker's airplane looked like it was just like 5 miles of rough road, on the top of the wing. It was very well done, and he got 19 points. So it's not causing a problem at appearance points, but it certainly isn't causing an increase in flight performance, and a dramatic increase in flight performance.
For sure.
I recommend you all go out and stick doodads on your airplanes.
It's like
so do you put them in the middle of the elevator? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So it's like the wingtips on the jumbo jets now. They've all got the tabs sticking up.
Winglets,
when I first saw those, I'm like, what the crap is that? Did they break them or something? But now I guess it cuts down on turbulence or something. I don't know. Helps them.
Wing vortices. Cuts down on the vortices.
I actually have pictures of it. If I can do the share thing, I can actually show you pictures. I just realized that I sent pictures out to Dan Woodship. How do I do the share thing again?
You go down that
Hang on, Bob. Hang on, Bob.
Screen there. It says share screen.
Share screen. Okay. Host disabled
Hang on.
attendees.
I gotta fix it for you. Hang on.
All right. I have to first.
You want to have what you want to share up on your computer already.
Okay, I got to go find the actual thing. Hold on a second.
Anyway, while he's doing that, I did get my my Tutor 2. Remember, I had the wing damage. I finally got it recovered, so it's ready to take outside and get started and see if the engine run on it. So hopefully I'll be flying it soon.
That's a good flying plane. I
Yeah, I
like
like it. I've got so far right now. I've got 17 planes and only 4 of them flyable.
You sound like me.
Yeah.
You know, you guys that are look at that.
Look at that.
Hang on, let me I can't see it. Hang on, I gotta.
Is that cool or what?
Yeah. Huh?
Oh
I
yeah,
like
that is cool.
It was a
Bob,
shot.
that's phenomenal.
One
Did you
side.
just put them on the elevator or did you put them on the flaps too?
Just the elevator.
Do you push that up tight?
Yeah, I have a little pieces. Well, I actually added some elevator area inadvertently because I made that piece that goes between the 2 pieces of 64th ply. I made that 5/16 of an inch wide. So it's actually giving me a little more elevator area as well, which may account for the better turn.
Okay.
But
It looks like you glued on a Scrabble board there, the holder.
Oh,
yeah, kind of what it looks like. But as far as the groove and the lock, there's no question.
Wow.
It's better. I mean, it's not even a joke. It's like night and day.
Bob, that is awesome.
Yeah, that looks
That
good
is
too.
awesome.
Thanks
Well,
for
credit
sharing that.
Paul and Dennis Nunes and Howard for doing this. You know,
I gotta
Thank
try
You
you.
it.
took your vortex. How come you took your regular vortex generators off? Do you just not need them with this?
I didn't even use vortex generators on this airplane. I had trip tape on it for a while.
Well, that's what
And
I'm trying. That's what I'm
I
talking
didn't
about.
see a dramatic improvement. These are just a whole other story.
Wow.
Okay.
I gotta try them.
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah.
That is slick, Bob.
Yeah.
You do good work.
Yeah.
Not much, but good. You know.
Well, you don't have to do much if you do it right the first time. I had a boss used to tell me that all the time.
I'm gonna have me a set of those in the next couple of weeks.
I'll have a set Saturday.
I gotta try them
Report back here and tell us what you think.
for sure.
I'll do
My
that.
picture's gone. Where'd my picture go?
Oh,
Turn your video back on.
turn your
Get the
camera back
camera
on,
on?
Bob.
Turn my camera back. Oh yeah, there it is. Duh.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you are.
There you go.
There you go.
Beginner. I'm a beginner. Can I tell you?
Yeah,
So
Bob,
the
that's
upright
phenomenal.
portion of wood, is that slotted for a slot for the 1/64th plywood on top and bottom of the elevator?
Yeah, then you just tape it on.
I just taped it on.
That is
So
so
it's
Yeah.
4
cool.
pieces of wood.
And it's
4
something else.
pieces of wood, right?
I found a great tape for using for hinge sealing and for doing stuff like this. Has anybody tried the Scotch gift wrapping tape?
No.
No,
So, yeah, I have.
the
It's the
green
color of your
stuff.
shirt, Charles. The holder is the color of your shirt.
Right,
It's kind of like purple.
right.
And
Okay.
that stuff is very thin and very strong. And if you heat it lightly with a monocoat gun, very lightly, it'll peel right off without pulling any finish up.
Ooh, nice.
Wow, that's cool.
And this is for what? Use this
That's
for
what I
what?
Taping this stuff on.
I put it for hinge sealing, but it works so good for hinge sealing. When I put these little pieces on, I tape them to the elevator because it doesn't have any thickness to it. It's very thin. And
Okay.
I just taped them on. But I'm going to make up about a dozen of them. And Dean Pappas suggested, here's another experiment we could all try. He said, instead of one long one per elevator, he says, try several short ones with like a Venturi effect between them.
Okay.
So you separate them by maybe an inch and put maybe 3 of them on each elevator and separate them by half an inch or 3/4 of an inch or so. And then you have some spillage between them. He said that might actually be better.
You know, that's a good idea. I've got this non-flap design. I've been working on it. Has the elliptical wing and elliptical tail, and those 3 pieces like that would fit around that elliptical on the rear a whole lot better.
Yeah, if you didn't have a straight one, it'd work better that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have it on my Teosaki Saturday. That doesn't have flaps. That don't have flaps.
I would be surprised if I don't get reports back here next time that everybody's airplane turns better, locks better, and tracks better.
Yes. Let me interrupt for a second, you guys. We have PJ Rollin. Anybody know him?
Yeah.
Hey PJ, how are you? Good
I don't
to
know
hear
what
from you.
he's referring to, but he's saying, yeah, I said that back in 1998.
Yeah, but who listens to you, PJ?
Yeah, you're so far away we can't hear you.
Apparently nobody.
Yeah.
And
Bob, let me make sure I understand this right. You got a plate, you got another little plate here, and your 64th attaches top and bottom to that.
Let me get the thing up again. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get a different view of it.
It looked like it had a piece that actually went up against the trailing edge and had
Right.
pieces that touched to the top and bottom of that, and then the big plate was behind it. But
hold on a second. Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Cool. Yeah, so simple.
Yeah. I made those in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Just some CA and away you go.
Yep.
I'm dying to try this.
The bad thing is, Bob Hunt could do it in 10 minutes. It'll take me an hour probably, but I'm going to have them on there.
You notice?
You just have 3 pieces of wood, right, Bob?
4.
Well, it's actually 4 altogether. It's two of the long plates, you know, that 64th inch plate. There's one on top and one on bottom. There's a piece between the 2 pieces of 64th that's the thickness of the elevator trailing edge.
Okay.
So it makes it like a little U that'll slide up on there. And then just a flat plate on the back.
Okay, now I'm with you. So that plate, that one piece that's the same thickness as the elevator, like a self-centering type of thing.
That's just so cool.
You notice the inherent designer in Bob, the
Yes.
little 64th plywood there, they don't have a square corner. They got a nice.
Yeah,
little-
everything's
Yep.
done just professional.
Bob, you're really
It's just amazing how he can do that.
So do you
Whoop it
cut
out.
that
So
with
it
a
just takes 10
sawzall
minutes.
or what? No.
What's that?
And I
Well,
think
the
the
whole
radius is-
idea of that is so that the corner doesn't dig into your airplane.
Oh, absolutely.
That's true.
For sure.
That's true, but still, how many guys are going to do that? I mean,
Now, what I
I
didn't
will.
do, I didn't round the corners of the balsa plate at the aft end there. I didn't round those corners because I thought we might want to actually disturb the you-know-what out of the air as much as we
Yeah,
can.
I think so too.
For sure.
What's the distance between the back of the elevator and the plate? In other words, how big is that
that's-
piece in the middle?
That was an arbitrary thing. I just had a piece of 5/16 material, so I just made it 5/16. And I think in doing that, mine are further aft of the trailing edge of the elevators than any of those other guys have them. But I've also added some elevator area, which I think again accounts for the ridiculous amount of corner this airplane's got now. I mean, its corner's better than it ever cornered, and this airplane was built in 2010.
I've seen that airplane fly one flight, and I was impressed then. That was way back when.
And that would fly so much better. It's almost not believable. Everybody came up and said, "What did you do to this airplane?"
I saw it land upside down.
Tracks like a freight train.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful airplane.
That'll answer Danny's question. You know.
Thank you. Awesome. Hey, Tryon, thanks for coming in, Tryon.
Hey guys. So what I had on my plane, one of the last trim changes that I've made to it, I put some of this. This is electrical tape. You see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
Barely,
blank.
but you can see it.
Strip.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Strip tape.
Yeah, it's just this, right?
Yes.
So you made the plane track beautiful. The rounds were just effortless, and at that point, took some corner away from the plane, but it's not like I was hurting for it. And I was getting ready to dial it back in because
that plane does not hurt for corner. Trust me.
Nice.
No, yeah, but I just wanted to get back to what I had before. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but the rounds were just, the tracking was beautiful and stuff like that. And that's the only change was made. I don't know
And
if
it's funny because when I put the trip tape on the Crossfire, it didn't really make much of a difference. I put it on the tail, Stabbit elevator, and I put it on the wing, and it really didn't make that much difference. But these drag plates made an amazing difference.
Yeah, to me, this made a big difference. I mean, I felt it immediately. It was
Each
instant.
individual airplane needs something different.
Yeah, probably so. Well, I will have some of those online this weekend. Well, I'll have to do it this week because I'm not going to be here this weekend. I'm going down to Trans, or at least that's the plan.
Mhm.
You gonna be ready?
Not really, but I'll
Well,
do
if you
my
want me to
best.
put it off another week, I can. It's up to
That
you.
that would work great. Unless you want to do some molding on my plane over the weekend, but there's no sense for you to spend your money and time to come here to you know.
Well,
to
you
do
let
this
me know
stuff.
when I need to come down. I'll come down when we can do some work because you know
Let's make
I
not,
just
let's make it for not this weekend, but next one for sure.
okay.
All right.
We can do that. We can do that.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. So I will have them on this weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you're
I'll
doing
be back
that
Monday and we'll
weekend-
give you a flight report.
if you're doing nothing this weekend, Phil, there's a contest in Maryland.
I know, but I'm going to be at my daughter's on Friday, and she's in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm getting too old for transcontinental drives. Go all the way down there and then turn around and come all the way back up here and then try to go. It's just, I wanted to make Maryland, but my daughter's been in the middle of a battle, divorce, and now that that's taken care of, we're all breathing a sigh of relief. But that don't mean the work's over.
Oh, family comes.
So,
Man.
Yeah.
well, it has to, especially when it's your baby. So we're going down to take care of that Thursday, Friday. Now it looks like I can help her on Saturday too. So that'd be all right. That'd be all right. We will get it done. But I tell you what, I'm going to try it. I'm making plans to do snowfly or before the snowflies. And I really want to go to Florida this year. I want to go to King Orange. I've never been. I've tried to go 3 different times and never been. So I'm trying to go this year.
Yeah.
I want to go too.
Yeah, that's been one of my bucket list contests. King Orange. So
Well, you can blame that little short guy. Charles, you got your finger up a long time. What you got, buddy?
Dan Winship, he's saying, Bob, did you mention that you had to go up an inch of pitch in your prop when you have the drag plates installed?
An inch.
Well, yeah, that's not quite accurate the way it's being said. Yeah, I did have to go up an inch in pitch, but it wasn't just because of the drag plates. It's because at the nets, if you recall, I had a bad sell and I landed inverted and broke the prop. And when I put on the other prop, which I thought was the exact same thing, because it was right out of the molds from Ressinger and Cox, I never checked the pitch. And when I got, and I had to raise the RPM quite a bit. When I got home, I checked the pitch of the prop, and it was an inch lower than the other one. So I raised the prop pitch about the same time I put these things on. So I'm not sure if which one caused the problem. But it makes sense that if you put more drag on the airplane, you're going to have more thrust.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it did use 3% nominally more battery.
Yeah. So Bob, something similar happened to me is that I did purchase some carbon fiber props, 2 blades from a guy in Europe, and they were very nice. There's basically a copy of the exhaust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I put them on a plane, I started to fly the plane. I was like, I was running the plane to about 158 target on my timer, and I bumped it up to about 180, 185. So I was almost close to a max throttle over there, and I still was flying slow at about 5.6 or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck just happened here? Because it's supposed to be the same pitch I was doing before. So yeah, no 2 props are exactly the same.
Yeah, you gotta check, especially wooden props. I mean, I used to buy bags of wooden props, and no 2 of them were alike, even blade to blade. They were off. So if you found one that was actually nominally, say it was a bag of 11.5s, if you found two props in the whole bag that had both blades at 11.5, you were doing good.
Actually, exhausts are pretty good about that. But this was a carbon fiber prop. There was a copy of that.
Oh, okay.
So the carbon prop was much lower pitch than the other ones.
Yeah.
And when I try to repitch it and I look on under the prop, the bottom of the prop was not a flat surface, so it was very hard to even make up like whatever the heck pitch did I have there. I had no clue at that
When,
point.
when you're pitching your props, when you're doing your props and you're modifying them a little bit, do you ever put any Phillips entry into them?
On a carbon prop,
Always.
it's a hollow prop.
Yeah, but hollow props generally have enough meat at the leading edge where you can put some Phillips entry in if you wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't try to do that. I just tried to
It makes
repitch
the
it.
airplane steer better. It just makes it turn better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I
Don't you
really needed more
effectively
turns.
lose some of the pitch?
Huh?
Don't you effectively lose some of the pitch when you do that? When you put
Yeah, you have to pitch them up a little bit more, but the Phillips entry tends to make the airplane steer better and contour corners better. I find.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I never knew that.
You know, Bob, I know what Phillips entry is, but we might have some people in the audience that don't know what a Phillips entry is.
Right. Okay. If you're typically at the leading edge of the prop, if you go to the bottom side of the prop at the leading edge and sand a little bit of semi-symmetrical in just at the leading edge, that's what they call Phillips entry. I don't know why it's named that. I guess Philip must have done it first.
like a Clark wire.
I don't know. I did it after Tom Dixon told me about it, and it's always worked. You don't have to take much off. You just knock. Most propellers have almost, if not an absolute corner, to be close to a corner on that edge, and just knock the corner off, make it round, and go out and fly, and just feel how much tension you got in your overhead eights. You won't believe it.
Yeah, I've experimented with a little bit and quite a bit, you know, I mean, like going back a quarter inch and then really bringing it up to almost semi-symmetrical section. And I've had varying degrees of success depending on the airplane. Again, each airplane's different, you know, so.
Yeah. That's for
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of little tricks to propellers.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize how many little tricks until I was talking to Billy Wurbidge, and he was showing me a book. The man's got, I don't know how many, probably hundreds of propeller sections drawn in this little loose leaf notebook. And I'm in awe of Billy. He can note everything and go back and make everything just repeatable.
Not only does he have hundreds of notes, he has hundreds of propellers.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that a bit either.
You know,
that's the reason we call him the man.
I posted Wendy did a video on props. It's almost like a 2-hour video.
Yeah, I got it.
Flying control line stunt. So anybody who wants to go on YouTube, you can go to Flying Control Line Stunt and see Wendy's prop tuning video. And he talks about, you know, repitching, pitching, Phillips entry, all these things about props. I think it's a very good video. So,
yeah, and that was critical, especially when you're flying IC motors, because basically and you guys can correct me, I think the IC motor have a very narrow band in which is very happy. And then you have the plane design, because you have a big airfoil or thin airfoil or whatever. So the prop has to match the motor run and also has to facilitate the plane abilities, right? So yeah, so that's both of them. So finding a correct prop for a plane was quite a chore back then.
Yeah,
absolutely is. I think electric made it stupid easy. I mean, just like you can put pretty much any prop on it and the plane is going to be halfway decent at least. I mean,
yeah, but you set your RPM and the darn thing runs at that RPM, whatever pitch you put it at. That makes it amazing.
Yeah, the consistency is bulletproof. That's for sure. But it's so easy to set up. You know, like with the IC, it's an artwork. And
well, the thing about electric that kills me, and it killed me initially, and I talked to Bobby, and I talked to you, and I talked to a lot of people, and I just couldn't get it through my thick head. It is so stinking easy, and it works the same way every time.
That's why I prefer it.
Yep,
especially for twins.
It's perfect for me. And you know,
I can't argue.
Yeah, I understand people are shy about it and stuff like that, but in some cases, I think they have the wrong misconception. Some people went away from electric saying that, well, at the end of the pattern, they kind of sag and whatever, you know, but that could be because of a number of reasons, right? So maybe
no,
just didn't
never
have
had
the,
one do that.
Well, I'll just go back to what my son Robbie said when we first flew electric. And there was a big controversy about electric being outlawed because, you know, just, they didn't want to. First off, they were saying it will never compete with glow because they'll never have enough power. How'd that work out?
That's funny.
But what he said was, he says, Dad, I hope they outlaw electric for everybody except you and me.
Tell Robbie he don't play fair.
Well, hey, my variation on that is that I have no problem with glow engines. I hope all my competitors are using them.
Yeah, I second that.
No, seriously, you know, you talk about it, when you take a look at how many different parameters go into getting a good internal combustion engine run.
Oh
you know,
my
air
God.
density, air temperature, you know, humidity, everything like that, the quality of the fuel,
altitude.
Yeah, I mean, you take and it's absolutely phenomenal that we've achieved the kind of success that we have over all of the years and everything like that. All of those wild cards are pushed aside, but I can still tell, even with my airplane running exactly the same RPM as it did the other day and everything like that, I can still tell on a day where the air is dead and the prop is running in soup, you know, I can tell that. I can tell when the wind picks up a little bit and all of a sudden the air gets more energized and the airplane gets more energized and everything like that. And I know that the motor hasn't changed. It's all in the air and stuff like that. How many things, you know, that's on top of all of the elements that make the engine run. There's just so much to it. So I don't know. You know, people used to talk about prop experiments. You know, they chip away at this and they'd round that off and everything like that, thinking that they were making the prop that would make the airplane fly better. But that was kind of a backdoor thing. What they were doing is, because a glow engine is a relatively low torque device and everything like that, when you start carving on the prop, what you were doing was adjusting the dynamic response of the glow engine to different loading conditions. All right. You weren't adjusting, and that was the factor that affected the way the airplane flew. You know, now it's not going to lug down quite as much, or it's not going to go over speed and not generate any thrust or something like that. You were doing some combination in there. You were adjusting the behavior of the motor. You weren't adjusting the way the prop flies the airplane.
Yeah.
All right. And that's and that's why what Trine was saying. I mean, you can bolt anything that looks like a propeller on an electric motor, and somewhere along the line you will achieve success.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
well, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to jump off. I gotta get some sleep. And
I was gonna tell you, Bob, if you get on the BBC or whatever.
Hi, Steve.
Hey. There was a thing on there, and I think it was Cambridge there in England. They're working on a passenger electric airplane. But they showed in the lab how they're working on it. It was a wing about the size of a 60 size stunner, and it had 12 electric motors on it.
Wow.
And they said that they found that blanketing the wing with high-speed air across the wing was making the lift so much better that then they could make the wing more efficient going through the air to save on the batteries. But they had 12 motors on it, and the mounts were tubes that they were the exact same size as the electric motor. And they're working on distance, and they had them about 6 inches. You know, they said millimeters, but it was like 6 inches from the wing for getting, in the air tunnel, getting the best wind across that wing, and how much more it would lift to how much thinner they could make it so it had less drag.
But
Did you see any of the videos from Oshkosh this year?
Yeah.
No.
They had an airplane out at Oshkosh that they're actually producing now. They're actually making production versions of it. It's like a 10. It looks a lot like your tandemonium, whatever it was, Dennis. Remember that?
Yeah, I know exactly what
like
you're
that.
talking about.
And it's got electric motors, like 4 of them per half wing on either side of the fuselage, on front and back. And the thing will just, and it's like almost like a rocking chair. The thing will just rock back and go right into the air and fly, and then they can bring it down and just set it down and it rocks back on the ground. It's like unbelievably stable.
Yeah,
and it has so little wing area, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, as I recall, it didn't even have wheels on it. It was,
no wheels, no.
Yeah, it flew, took off and landed virtually like a helicopter and flew like an airplane. Only the whole airplane was like rotating forward for thrust, and then it would actually lay back, for landing. But yeah,
it's really, it's all electric. It's all like model airplane size electric motors, maybe large radio control motors, but it made a lot of noise because there was a lot of propellers. I think it was like 12 propellers going at one time or something. But
well, again, I bet if you put it next to a Cessna 172, it probably would have been silent. So
how about it? Anyway, guys, have a good one.
Hey, thanks, Bob.
Thanks for that. Bye, Bob.
Thanks for the tip, Bob.
Yeah, thank
you.
Bob.
Try. I want to hear back from everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, Peter has had his hand up for a while. So,
okay.
And by the way, hi, Steve. Thanks for coming in, Steve. And then Peter, go ahead, Peter.
I don't know. If you guys recall on Friday, I was trying to figure out how to keep my wingtip, the exit for the lead outs so the balsa wouldn't get bunged up. Anyway, I had a whole bunch of this copper foil, this copper tape that I had laying around. I still don't know what it was actually used for. But
I know what it's for.
But what I did is, I don't know if you can see it, but I turned around and I lined the slot. I think you can see it now. I lined the slot with the copper tape.
Okay.
Awesome.
So this way the lead outs won't eat up the balsa after it's all sanded and everything else.
That's awesome.
What about a layer of 164 plywood?
I was thinking about that, but I was thinking about going that route. But ultimately, I had this stuff. I mean, it was just I didn't have to fabricate or anything. I just
it works awesome.
I just got cut a strip. I cut a strip.
Quick and easy. I think that's a great idea.
Bent it to shape and epoxied it on. Done deal.
Okay. I would think it might be on a little bit on a heavy side, but it's this stuff is like, geez, I don't even know if I put a micrometer on it. It's really thin and it's not heavy at all. Okay.
Hey, Peter, you can use that for gaskets too. It's great stuff. Wendy used to use it all the time.
Yeah, copper foil. Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know what it was originally meant to be used for. That's the only thing.
We used to use it to make circuit boards, and then you'd burn off or acid dip it and get rid of the parts you didn't need.
Yeah, because I got a whole bag of this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Don't ever lose that. That's great stuff, Peter.
That's hard to get now, Pete.
That stuff is gold.
You used to pick that up at Radio Shack. Guess what? There ain't no Radio Shack. That stuff's hard to get now. We used to get sheets of that stuff at AT&T that were 4x8. I'm gonna have to mute my mic again. They want to play with the dog, and he's barking up ahead a storm. But anyway,
if anybody, it's like I don't have a whole lot of it, but if anybody needs some, I can always send it off to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff, Peter.
Charles, did you fly your plane?
Yeah, I went out today, and I'm telling you, it's one of those times when I had so much anticipation and excitement. I couldn't wait to see how the plane would respond to the engine being pushed back. But unfortunately, when I moved the engine back, I must have changed the CG and the landing gear accordingly. And so when Joe Mata released the plane, it was just nose over. So I couldn't repair the landing gear, or I didn't want to repair the landing gear and bend them forward at the field. So I had to come home and really disappointing. But it's just when you borrow from Paul, you got to pay Peter. I mean, our hobby is, you take from someplace and you got to replace someplace else. It's just back and forth.
Are your wheels sticking by any chance?
I mean, they're the same wheels and landing gear I've had for some time. I didn't change anything there.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. I was surprised. I was caught off guard. I mean, Al Fierro last week said, Charles, when you move the engine back, don't forget to move your lead outs back. But I didn't think about the landing gear wheel position affecting the plane.
Well, that would make the landing gears effectively further forward as far as the weight.
I shouldn't do that. I don't.
Gary
I'm
was
lost.
saying the same thing. Gary, when we first started, Gary was going, I don't understand. You moved the engine.
Yeah, it's not making sense here.
Shouldn't have had any problem.
No.
Yeah, there's something else
Make
going
sure
on.
make sure your wheels didn't stick for some reason.
Yeah.
Because when you move the landing gear, when you move the motor back, the plane should now be more tail heavy.
Tail heavy.
Exactly.
Not nose heavy.
Well, when I
Nose
put
heavy
the plane on its nose, I mean, it stays there. I mean, it's like something changed. I mean, when you lower the nose, and I mean, it just
Mm-hmm.
stays there. Before it would fall back gently. So something has changed.
Wait a minute.
Did you knock some weight out of the tail somehow? Did you lose some tail weight or something?
Because it shouldn't stay there.
I took off. I did have. I see you, John. I did have 2 quarter-ounce sticks of lead weight on the tail, and I thought, well, since I'm moving the engine back, I don't need any more tail weight back there.
No,
I did.
You're gonna have to rebalance it. You got to rebalance the whole thing, Charles.
Yeah, exactly. Put some weight in the tail again.
You're gonna have to rebalance it. Anytime you move something around, you got to rebalance the whole thing.
Yeah, you're nose heavy. That's what's wrong.
Well, I thought I was nose heavy before I moved the engine back.
Well,
now
you
nose
probably
heavy again.
you probably gained some, but you probably don't need near what you had on there. But a quarter ounce is a bunch on a tail, and a half an ounce is a ton.
Yeah, so put it back in.
It was really nose heavy. I mean, obviously.
But I mean, I would anytime you change a different motor, it's a heavier motor. Like I went from a double star to a stalker, big change in weight. You have to rebalance. OS to a Fox, heaven forbid.
I see you, Denny. I see you.
Hang on, Dennis.
Oh, you leaving, Denny? Take care of yourself.
No.
He has a,
okay.
But John,
let's listen to Denny because he probably knows a better cure. But it sounds to me like you need
John
some
is
tail weight.
next, and then Denny, because I told John I saw him. So go ahead, John.
Okay, I'll be real quick, Denny. Did you take off your main gear and put it back on?
No, nope. Didn't even touch it.
I thought you might have swapped them side for side, and some have it. So okay, take it, Denny.
All right. Originally, before you put the tail weight on it, did the airplane nose over on takeoff? Could you not fly the airplane before you?
I don't know how long that tail weight has been on the plane. I don't even remember.
My guess is that you put it on after you flew the airplane and decided it was nose heavy, and you added some tail weight to improve the turn. That sound reasonable?
That sounds right.
Okay. All right. So, and you took it back off, and you don't know. I agree. What Phil and Len are saying. It's absolutely right. The game is on as far as rebalancing, but you didn't put the tail weight on originally so you could take off. You put it on because you didn't like the way the airplane was.
That's right.
Now you took the tail weight off and now it's nosing over. It's got nothing to do with the tail weight being missing. It's something. Look hard at the wheels. Something happened. Something's gone wrong there.Maybe something got caught up in it, or something got jammed in the wheel while you were working on it, or something like that. But
something like that. It's got to be
like that.
It's got
to be something like that. And if it isn't, I don't know. I'd go extreme if you really think the wheel, and you didn't change the wheel position, correct?
I didn't quite catch what you said.
You didn't change the position of the wheel fore and aft, correct?
Oh no, I didn't touch landing gear at all.
It can't possibly be. It can't possibly be because of nose weight or something like that. It's got to be something in the wheels.
You added a big spinner to the front, didn't you?
I did, but it's a
There you
light
go.
spinner.
Lighter than what you had?
Where is the CG, Charles? Did you check the CG before and after?
Now it's at 90 centimeters from the leading edge.
About
What was it before?
3.5 inches.
It was 97 centimeters before.
Now it's 90.
Yeah.
So it's more nose
you,
heavy.
You made it nose heavy then.
So it's more nose heavy than it was.
That don't make sense.
The only
Yeah,
thing
it
I can
doesn't
think
make
of is maybe I measured it incorrectly when I measured 97 because I have a Great Plains CG machine. And so before I started this operation, I checked the CG. I was just curious. I recorded it. Then I did all this work, and you know the apparatus is still in that framework, same way. And I go to balance it, and I needed to change the CG machine. And when I measured it, and now it's 90 centimeters. Sorry, I'm doing metric. Compared to 97 as before, and I was like, this morning I was scratching my head.
Well, yeah.
Same engine? Centimeters or millimeters?
Well, the scale is saying
it's gotta be millimeters.
It's millimeters, not centimeters. Okay.
7 millimeters is a quarter
I'm
inch.
sorry.
That didn't make your airplane nose
I'm
over.
suffering from sleep deprivation again. I'm sorry. I've been up since.
That's okay.
Why don't we do inches, Charles, and then we'll all understand, and you'll understand too.
I know. You know, the scale
is it the same engine, Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same engine. I moved it aft 5/8 of an inch, roughly.
Where does the plan say to have it balanced at?
You took weight out of the tail.
I got to check that scale. I got to check that plans, the measurement. I meant to do that, but I thought, if my recollection is correct, I think Wendy's measurement was 93 millimeters. And again, I'm
Wait a
using
minute.
metric because it's easier.
Wait a minute. Forget about Wendy's measurements because Wendy's measurements were on a totally different airplane that
With
the
a
weights
different
don't
motor
compare.
too. And with a
Different
different
motor, different everything. You can't go by Wendy's unless you got the
Exactly.
same plane, the same
Same
moments, or
motor.
the same motor. So forget all that crap. Figure out where the CG is on a Strega, and then go from there and just rebalance that thing.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's just gone way nose heavy.
Well,
And
Charles made
unless
new landing
you got
gear for it too, though.
See you, John.
Didn't you make new landing gear for it, Charles?
No,
Yeah, but I flew it. This is before moving the engine aft. I did make new landing gear, and it was landing sweet. It was taking off nice. I loved it. And then I moved the engine aft, and now it's. And
check your wheels and then check your balance. Check those two things. And
Yeah.
let me know what you come up with. Call me. Let me know what you come up with. And one or the other has got to be the problem.
All right.
I mean,
Charles,
you didn't change it. You didn't change anything but the balance. I mean, you moved the engine back. You changed the balance. Now it's nosing over. Either you got a wheel that's locking up.
No,
Or
Phil.
He
moved the engine back and took lead off the tail.
Hang on, Steve.
Yeah.
After Phil is done, then John will have his chance. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Give me a call when you get this figured out, Charles. When you check those two things, Charles, because now you're going to have me having nightmares. That thing has got to be. It's either the tail weight. When you took the tail weight off, you just threw the nose weight. I think you just deleted your what you gained by the front, because the rule is 4-to-1. Anytime you have an extra quarter of an ounce on the nose, you have to put an ounce on the tail. It's an ounce on the tail counteracts. Anyway, it's 4-to-1. Now I got myself all upset. But anyway, if you change the nose weight, every time you put more weight up front, you have to put more weight in the back.
Right.
It's 4 times as much in the front as it is in the back, because the back's got that long lever arm.
Right.
However, you took off a half an ounce and you only moved that back 5/8. I'm not sure 5/8 will counteract a half an ounce. That's a bunch.
Maybe that's what it is. I mean, that's one thing that can explain it, because that's something what I did differently. I didn't change the landing gear.
I think that's what you got. You just need to rebalance it.
I just expected that moving the engine back. This engine weighs like 13 and a half ounces.
I know.
You can't assume anything.
You can't assume that, but I did assume that.
I bet you that'll fix it. I bet that'll fix it. It flew before. I mean, you liked it before.
Yeah.
Got to be able to be repairable.
You're shot.
Yeah, you really can't.
I'm sorry.
You can't change two things at one time.
Yeah.
You can only change one thing at a time.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, Charles, I think Phil's got a good line going on it. I think that's most likely what happened. But if you need to, or if you want to, here's a quick way to get it set back into the range where you're safe, just on the bench. Take a panel of your wing, find the halfway point on it. That now becomes your mean aerodynamic chord.
Okay.
Measure 25% of that chord back from the leading edge. That will be your starting CG. At that point, you can extend that line up to the fuselage and out to the tip if you want, but that's your 25% chord line. Now, most any airplane will fly reasonably well at 25% of the MAC. So non-flap like it closer to 18 or 19%, but a flap ship can handle it at the 25. So if you set it up to that, you'll see how much weight problems you got one way or another, and it'll give you a chance to figure it out. Now, after you get it flying, it may be a little too sensitive for you. It may be a little sluggish for you. You may have to move your CG and your lead outs, as part of the trimming, but you'll get it in there a lot faster than trying to guess, saying, well, it was okay here, so I did this, so now it should work,
Yeah.
That's bench trimming.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Steve. I cut you off, Steve. And hang on, Carl.
I was just going to say that you can only change one thing at a time.
I know, that's true. Yeah.
And when you do two things, you don't know what's going on there. You move the engine back, and yeah, it could have been too tail heavy, and see maybe, adding a little bit. But yeah, you'd have to know where you're at exactly where you're at on your center of gravity and how much that moved it back. But it can't move, just moved it forward. You got to add tail weight to get that back to where it was. But yes.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, but he also said it was 90 versus 97 millimeters. That's a quarter inch. I've never seen an airplane where the difference between flying and not flying was a quarter inch on the CG, especially a proven airplane.
Nah.
Right.
So I think I think your wheel is hanging up on the bend in the wire. And I hope that's I guess kind of a long shot. Do you have a backing washer or wheel collar or something like that to keep the wheel from going in around the bend?
I'll have to check. And the other caveat is I flew on a different surface too, so that might have been it. But yeah, I'll check to see if I have a back washer or collet to keep the wheel from crabbing the bend.
Yeah, at the bend, exactly.
Because you could spin the wheel and think, gee, this is working free, but as soon as you get it,
Pulling
side
on.
load, like pulling
Exactly.
on, side load, and
Yeah, it
thing
freezes.
it'll lock right up on you.
Good point, Dennis.
Yeah.
See, if it was electric, Charles, you could just move the battery forward.
Oh, brother. Here we go.
I knew I was in trouble. I knew.
All right, there we go. That was for you, Len. Hey, Len, the border's open.
Yeah, not for me. Only you can come. I can't go there.
Well, okay, we got our standards.
Carl wanted.
Sorry.
I kind of waved Carl off 3 times already.
Sorry.
Hey, I just wondered, Charles, what was the fuel condition when you went flew today? I just wonder if the wheel just caught a little crevice and made it nose over.
Yeah, well, our normal flying surface, Carl, was the grass was 10 inches high in a lot of places, so I didn't even try to fly there. I actually flew in the softball diamond, the new one, the one they invested a lot of money in. I actually went and flew in there, inside the fenced area.
Okay.
So that grass was much lower than where you and I normally fly at. But that grass had some different.
But no uneven ground or anything.
A little bit. I mean, no, the ground is, it's a baseball field, so that ground is leveled.
Yeah,
but the grass, there was some different fescue of grass. There was some clumpy grass in there and not clumpy grass. So it had a mixture of fescue in there, but it was low. I mean, the plane should have rolled out.
So do you think you could have hit a small clump of grass and make it nose over?
We moved the plane after it did the first time, and then when Joe was holding the plane, he was noticing how it was just easier. I mean, the plane was just ready to nose over. I mean, like as if, I mean, it acted like as if I needed to bend the wheels forward to keep the plane from falling over.
Yeah.
You know, and I noticed that it was. I
So
noticed
had
that.
a teeter. So it had a teeter totter effect then.
Right. I see you, John.
Okay. That's all.
Right. Hey, Mark, you leaving?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the rack, man. Thanks.
All right. Oh, hey, well, thank you very much, Mark. Thanks.
See you later, Mark.
Easy, Mark.
No, Mark.
I'm glad to see you're progressing and healing. That's awesome.
Thank you. He's good.
All right, great. And then, John, you wanted to say something, John?
Yeah. Sounds to me like you got similar problem to what we have up there by Gordon's house where we used to fly all the time, or they still do. I'm just down here. They have a real beautiful soccer field, but the grass is so thick. I take my plane and I can fly perfectly well off the thinner grass or on hard surface. Do beautiful takeoffs and landings, but I can't do that on that grass because it wants to nose over. And so there I have to hand launch or take that gear off and put on grass gear. Make a new set of gear that's angled forward about 5, 10, 15 degrees further forward and use that for that kind of grass. Now, it'll be terrible. It won't be as easy to land on that if you forget to take it off and go fly on a hard surface, but that's your fault if you forget.
Right. Yeah, right.
Tryon and Peter's got their hand up.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't see that. Who was first?
I don't know.
Well, Tryon, go ahead and we have who's coming in? We have someone coming in. Yeah,
I think it was Mark leaving.
No, we have
Joe
a new person
Mora.
Hey,
Joe.
Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey. All right. Well, Joe, now you was there with me. You saw the
Yeah, I'm with the Strega Research and Development team.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the grass. It wasn't the grass because we thought it was on the first takeoff, and so we moved back to a really low cut part of the field. And when he was when he walked out, I was lifting up my left hand, and as I lifted it up, the plane just kept coming up. And then I just said, "You know what, Charles? Something's wrong here. It's just wasn't right."
Doesn't make any sense.
You need to rebalance it and check your wheels.
Yeah, what I want to say is that it surely sounds like the wheels are jammed or something like that, because that's about the only time that I had my nose going in into the ground on a takeoff. So that's one possibility. Somebody mentioned about something about the CG adjustment, and they say the plane is too sensitive. Closing, I mean, move the CG forward, or if it's not sensitive
CG
enough,
back.
move the CG back. So, but I would say adjust the CG first to where the plane tracks and turns at maximum, and adjust the handle to suit your flying style. It's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's critical. What I do usually, and I do it when I fly by myself on grass, and we had I fly off of some football fields over here where the grass it's that thick, you know, it's just about almost as big as my wheels are. I usually do a full up elevator, and I just hold it there at full up and wait for the plane to just start moving for the first 2-3 feet or so. And as soon as it starts to move, instantly I get bam, I bring it back to neutral.
And that might have worked today because if
And-
I would have given it up, that would have kept the tail down.
Yeah. So especially when you first try, but the idea is that as soon as it's moving, I mean, do not wait, because if you wait, you're gonna do a figure 9. But as soon as it moves, the first 2-3 feet or so, it has some momentum, you know, then then instantly back to neutral and just this normal takeoff from that point on.
Right. But that's how you fly. That's your style. And for me, when I go to a contest with all the anxiousness and activity, I really don't want to change how I take off.
It's for grass. I'm
Just for
telling
grass only? Okay.
Charles, you have to adapt your flying style based on where you're flying and in what condition you're flying. You can go at high altitude and you're going to find out that the plane doesn't turn worth a damn, and you have to change the flying style. Or you can fly at sea level where it turns very well. You have to adapt again. You take off of a paved runway, and when I take off of a paved runway, I have no full up elevator. What I do when I take off paved elevator, I'm going to tell you. What I do, I kind of close my eyes and I picture by hand that I'm flying level of flight, and I know where my fan position is, usually over there, and just that's all I do. I stop over there and just let the plane take off, and it usually just takes off nice and flat. If I'm on a grass, I'm full up elevator, neutral as soon as the plane starts moving. You know, normal takeoff from there on.
But my experience is I fly on grass almost 98% of the time. I only compete on asphalt. So I don't go to that many competitions a year. So I fly on grass almost all the time. And I don't have to give my planes up. I have pretty good takeoffs flying on grass with not giving me. I pretty much have my elevator and stab, you know, there's just zero out. There's just level. And that's how I take off on grass.
Yeah. Well, on my plane, that's what worked on my plane, especially because when I take off, I have 0 RPM and the motor slowly spools up. And because it does that, it doesn't have the full blast of an IC motor. Well, maybe you don't need the full up, maybe just a little bit of up, right?
Yeah, I haven't had that. I mean, I've been flying this flying field for like 7 years, and this was really out of nowhere today. Just strange.
In that case, Charles, John's suggestion is the best thing going.
Yeah.
And it's the easiest solution. Make another set of landing gear. I mean, if your landing gear is type that you can, easily remove them, typically, wing mounted gear, you remove a couple of screws, maybe a plywood plate, and you can swap the gear out. Just make a set of gear, for grass. This way you don't have to change your flying style a whole lot. At least this gives your airplane a little more room to move forward without getting hung up. And then when you go to a competition, you swap in the lower gear.
Yeah, a lot of high performance planes do that, and some of the top flyers do that. They have a pair of landing gear for the grass conditions and another one for concrete. Sometimes they even take the same landing gear, just flip it over.
Charles, I don't see it. If you were flying that airplane with that gear before and it took off and it landed okay, I see it as being a balance issue or the wheels sticking. I don't think you need different gear.
No, I think the wheel is sticking, and moving the motor back just 5/8 of an inch is not going to move your. It's going to move your CG back a little bit, but it's not anything.
Not so much. It's going to nose over. Yeah, not so much.
I agree. I think it's a balance issue or a wheel sticking issue. That's my opinion.
I'm probably thinking wheel sticking or a little hole in the ground over there wherever you place your plane.
No, because he took off in 2 different places. He tried it in a different
place.
No,
he never went. He never took off on the second one where the grass was smooth, because when I raised my hand on the back of the plane, it would rise up.
The nose started going down. Yeah, the tails were coming.
Yeah, before if I had one wing, if I had a hand on one wing and I let go of my left hand on the back, the tail would stick to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't raise up.
Exactly.
I think you got a balance
just,
issue.
It would just keep raising up till the prop hit the grass if I let it.
I think it's a balance issue, Charles.
Yeah, I'm
rebalance that puppy.
You know what you can do as a launcher to help a little bit with this? So you hold your plane like this on a back, right? Say you hold it from the wing and from the elevator. Hold your wing, hold your hand over there, just open it up, and it's gonna slide underneath your hand.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's instead of lifting them up,
that's what we always do. Just let go.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
Just open it and let it slide from underneath.
We got Carl and we got Joe. These guys they've launched my planes for years.
Exactly.
These guys easily have 100 launches on the Strega. These guys launched my
Put your
planes.
tail weight back on and try it.
I think that
take off tail weight if you need it.
I think that's where I made my error. I just
good idea.
Need that is I was afraid of it being tail heavy. That's the last thing you want.
Well, rebalance it, Charles. Check it. Anytime I change propellers, like I went a few weeks ago on my number one plane from a carbon fiber prop to a wooden prop, and the wooden prop was heavier. I checked the CG, and I put a little piece of clay at the tail under the tail to balance it. My planes look like crap till I go to a contest. I put a dab of clay on it and just leave it till I get ready to go to the contest. Then I clean it up and put everything where it's supposed to be and get it right. But then the crazy thing is you get home from the contest, a month later, you're taking the clay out or doing something, because in the early spring, you seem to need more elevator. Midsummer, early spring, you take elevator out of it. Midsummer, you need more elevator because the air's thin. It's no big science project. The air's hot. It's thinner. Then in the fall, you're going to need less elevator. So you're constantly changing your planes. A lot of guys say, I never retrim. I didn't either for years. Now all of a sudden I have to. I don't know why, but
that's because you get maximum performance. I think you get maximum.
I guess that's it.
The more I learn,
guess that's it.
Yeah, the more I learn and the more I do, the more I have to work at it.
Yeah, seems like the more work there is to do.
Takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Go to the darn field. Go to the darn field. Take 15 props with you. Go to the darn field. Adding clay, taking clay, moving lead outs, adding trim tabs, pulling trim tabs. It never stops.
The only thing about this is I'm not the only one. I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one.
No, I'm constantly
doing it.
Carl and Joe, they tell you I'm always fidgeting, always adjusting, always
for better performance all the time.
Right?
And the only thing about it,
they'll see me just fly level and they'll go, "What's wrong with the plane?" I go, "I don't like how this plane flies."
Exactly.
The only thing that I don't like to have to twiddle with is a needle valve. If you go out there, unless the weather changes, I set the needle valve and I don't touch it the rest of the day.
Never have
most
to.
times.
You shouldn't have to move that needle more than 1/8 of an inch in either direction at any time.
I very seldom ever had to fool my needle valve. Now I went to Atlanta and I turned the needle valve a little bit. I couldn't figure out why I had to, but the air is a lot different down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back home, I had to turn it back the other way.
Exactly.
But I don't want to have to fool with that. But anyway, let me ask you a question before we get too crazy off track. Does anybody on here ever get on Brotherhood of the Ring? Ringmasters?
Once a year.
All right, I keep trying to get on. I can't get signed on. I want one of those round Brotherhood of the Ring decal stickers, whatever you call it, and 2 of those triangles where it has the ringmaster doing the triangle to go on my new ringmaster. And I've been trying for a month. Are you on
Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
No, sir.
I mean, that's the only place I can see it. I can't get on their website. I don't think it's down. I think
it must be.
Facebook.
The RC Universe says it's back up, but I can't get Richard to respond to me. I can't get in touch with D Rice. I used to call D. Used to get in touch with D, but I can't get in touch with D now. I'll tell you one thing, that man's got one of the prettiest Pomeranians I've ever seen. He's got a party colored Pom did have 2 years ago that was gorgeous. But anyway, I can't get in touch with him, with anybody. But if anybody can find out how to get me 1 round one and 2 triangles, I'll be tickled death to pay you. I've got a brand new
Why, you name
airplane that I want to put them on. I want to put it on. I painted the plane red, yellow, and white to match that darn decal.
Oh wow, yeah.
And now I can't get the decal. So I don't know. Anyway, it's
Let me
not.
let
It
John
doesn't.
in.
It doesn't match the one on the decal. Now, I'm not saying that the 576 is supposed to. It was going to, but I can't get the decal, so it really doesn't matter. But if anybody hears about where to get them, please let me know. I want to get those 3 decals. Get this airplane finished. It's one of my 9 planes I wanted to paint. I'm down to 7, but I got to get this ringmaster finished. All it needs is 3 decals and some clear, and that's one more off my list.
I'll see if I can help you. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say,
okay,
with electric planes in the
Hang on,
springtime, I
Steve.
fly the Venom battery.
Hang on,
In
Steve.
the summer, I fly the Thunder Power. And
Hang
then
on,
back
Steve.
to the Venom in the fall.
All right, you guys, let John speak, and then Steve, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. John, go ahead, John.
okay. One of the things about living at high altitude is this.
So are we off a Charles airplane now?
No. Actually, talking about trim, and this fits in with Charles' airplane a little bit.
Okay, so at
One of
higher
the things
altitude.
about flying at high altitude is that you get your plane trimmed at the higher altitude. You go down in altitude for a contest, your plane is in far better trim right off the bat than most people that go up at the contest.
Yeah.
And it only gets better the lower you go. So when I go all the way down to close to sea level, I'm in Fat City. But I'll tell you this, you want to come up to my altitude, you'll fight it for a day, at least. Now, the problem you're having, Charles, is trim, is basically your CG. Your CG, you get it got away from you. I think that more so than getting a sticky wheel. I think that's more. So what I would do is, what has changed? Go back to what it was like before it changed.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're going back to a known position.
All right, I can do that. I recorded 97 millimeters, so I'll put it back to 97 millimeters, and then see where I'm at, and then make adjustments out of it. But yeah, I'll go back to where I started.
Yeah.
And, Steve, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Steve. Go ahead, Steve. And
Never mind.
Okay, well, you guys, it's been great. We're going to transition to the after party. We've had and Howard Rush is trying to come in, so that's great. But we're over time, and I want to go to the after party because I don't want people to see a 3-hour show and don't even want to look at it because it's so long. But we did pretty good today. I mean, I'm really excited with for a Monday show. This is on par with a Friday show, in my opinion. And so we have 21 likes. We have 0 chat revenue. So you guys, if you people out there in the audience, if you'd click on the super chat and give us a donation, that'd be much appreciated. And then we also have the join button where you can join and become a subscriber to Sparky's Stunthangar channel. And it starts out at $4.99 a month. And it's less than 17 cents a day. So that's something we'd like you to consider. And we had some conversation in the chat box. Had some guys I haven't seen in a while. I think Michael Schmidt, it was either his first or last time. I haven't seen PJ Rollins in a while. And thank you. And also Dan Winship came in. And of course, Marcel Legrand. And I didn't see Mike Rigel. And we're missing Mike Lonke. I hope that everything is okay with you, Mike Lonke. He didn't come in either inside here or in the chat box. So I hope you're all right.
Said he's very tired tonight.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah,
and then Tom Bramall, he was just in the chat. So good show. Thank you very much. We're going to transition to the after party. And today's Monday. So we'll see you again Friday. Come on back and share with us what you've been up to lately. And